Hey friends, this is Carmen from Cartridge Gamers here. Today I'm joined by John, and we're going to do a final look at all the announcements that actually came from the Nintendo Switch reveal, looking at everything from games, the console, the prices of accessories, and pretty much what we think about it. Stay tuned till the end, because we're actually going to go over whether or not you should pre-order it, and who should pre-order it. So guys, please like and subscribe if you haven't done so already. Make sure you leave comments down below, and as always, thank you for watching. So John, you had the recap video. We found out about what the price point is. We found out about what the release date actually was. What are some of your thoughts a couple days removed from the actual announcements?
Well, we got a lot of news since that video throughout the whole weekend. It was just switch. Right now, with it coming out March 3rd, and the price point, I don't think it should be coming out so soon for what they're offering. You know, based off of the accessories and the games that they have. Mm-hmm. And along with that, I don't think that price is really what the price is going to be. I mean, you have accessories and stuff like that. So, yeah, you want to go and talk about the accessories and the pricing, you know, things that we learned?
Yeah, absolutely. The one thing I do want to add about the actual release date, and you're just saying that it is too soon. Like, even looking at it from, like, a pre-order standpoint, like, it's really, like, what, 6-7 weeks out at this point?
Yes.
Give or take.
Mm-hmm.
That's not a lot of time to actually build the funds, I think, to pay for this system.
Right.
And everything else that's going to go into the games, the accessories. It's going to be a high price point. Mm-hmm. So I think that it might be too soon.
Yes.
What are some of your thoughts on the accessories as far as cost? What might be needed, what might not be needed?
I feel they're overpricing everything.
That's what it seems like. And that's what's kind of scary about everything.
You have the Joy-Cons and everything like that. The Joy-Cons, what, are $70?
It's $79.99 for two of them. So for like the actual set of the Joy-Cons is $80.
Right.
Which seems crazy to me. Mm-hmm. And my problem is too, and I'm trying to wrap my head around the marketing of this whole thing. The one has the ability for the amiibos on the right hand.
Right.
The left hand has the share capability. So if you're gonna be buying these separately, I don't know in a sense why you would buy these separately, unless you're losing or half of them are getting broken, etc.
Mm-hmm.
So it's going to be really interesting to see, like, 6 months out of launch, like, why they actually broke it up to be that way. Is it really the best way to actually sell these? And it seems like they're doing it just to kind of cover all their bases, but the price point alone seems shocking to me. Even the Joy-Cons by themselves are $50 by themselves. Mm-hmm. Not the whole set, but the left and right ones are $50.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, the only explanation I could think of is maybe they're trying to keep it in the market of, say, you want to get another Xbox controller or a PS4 controller. But unless we get our hands on these things ourselves, we're going to find out if it's worth it or not. You know, what do we feel the build quality?
Yeah.
You know,
and saying like the Xbox One, PS4 controllers, I'm looking at these things as you're paying $50 for half a controller. Like,
right.
Yes, like some games are going to allow you just to use one Joy-Con, but like Zelda, you're not going to be able to play Zelda with one Joy-Con.
Right.
These bigger
you're going to need the
games,
two of them.
Yeah, you would assume.
So unless you just feel like playing 1-2 Switch.
Yeah, or like I guess you can actually get Mario Kart and probably play with just the Joy-Cons. Mm-hmm. But some of these bigger AAA titles that they do eventually come out with a Metroid or something else kind of grander, you're gonna need like either both the Pro controller or the actual the full Switch.
Right. So what's interesting is you talk about the Pro controller. Mm-hmm. The Pro controller is $70. Yeah. So you're basically, why would you want to stick to the Joy-Cons?
Well, the thing is with the Pro controller too is just like, why are we paying more for what's potentially an Xbox One or a PS4 controller?
Right. Just a different logo.
yeah, and from what I'm hearing and from what I've seen online is that it's not necessarily the most ergonomic type controller.
Okay.
It's not the most comfortable feeling controller.
Okay.
So what makes this Pro and what makes this $10 more?
Right.
That's my question. That's my big question. Like, how do you sell that to somebody that you look at a DualShock 4 that has the light bar sensor and all this other stuff, an Xbox One controller that has specialized rumble features, and then you have a Pro controller for a Nintendo Switch, and from my understanding, I don't know what the difference is. Like, I don't know what makes it so much special, what makes it more than worth more than those types.
Because
of
they didn't talk about it that much.
No, and right now, from my understanding, at least I haven't seen it online. I don't think you can actually pre-order it right now.
Okay, so that's something that's going to come out a little bit later.
I believe so.
Okay. Other thing too is looking at the Joy-Con controllers. Mixed reviews on it, but from what I understand is the rumble is not even that good.
Yeah, and that's what's surprising because they spend all that time on stage where they're shaking.
Yeah,
it's supposed to be like
glass,
ice cubes coming into the glass, and that was really surprising. So all in all, I think we can kind of agree that the accessories are kind of the hidden cost behind this system.
Mm-hmm.
So you're getting the basic system for $300, but if you want to play with other people coming over and you're going to need extra controllers, I mean, it's great that you have the 2 Joy-Con controllers that you can kind of play some games with, but it's things like Splatoon when that comes out. Like, are you going to have multiple Pro controllers? Are you going to have
right.
2 sets
Mm-hmm.
or the full set of Joy-Con controllers?
Mm-hmm.
Those are some of the bigger questions I'm going to have.
Right, and talking about other accessories, the only thing I could think of that, I mean, you're looking at another docking system
Mm-hmm.
for $90.
Yeah.
For it to be $90,
It's a third of the cost.
it's a third of the cost. Now, if you break one, great. You don't have to spend the whole price for another one. But
Yeah.
for it to be $90, what is the build of this thing? Are you easily gonna mess up the USB port on it?
That's a good big question too.
And you gotta understand, kids are gonna be jumping on this thing like crazy parents. Now, are we talking like kids handling this thing? Is it gonna break in like 2 tries?
And I mean, I like the idea of, there's some kids out there that or some families or customers out there that might have 2 areas where they want to play. So they might want another docking station. And from what we've seen in the docking station, all it is really a power source and a hookup to the TV. Why is it $90? What makes the Pro controller worth $70? What makes the docking station worth $90?
Right.
Those are some of the big questions. And I don't know if this is a way for them to they might be selling the Switch at a loss when it comes out, and this might be a way for them to kind of make back some of that money.
Could be. It's a good point. The Wii U did pretty bad.
Yeah, so there might be some hidden costs that they're trying to actually get back from either the soft sales of the Wii U or the development cost of the Switch, because it's a brand new console. And don't get us wrong, like, we're both excited to see what this console can do.
Yes.
But the problem is going to be is how much is too much when it comes to accessories, and also we still don't know a lot about this whole online feature with cell phones and the Nintendo app.
They were very vague. They barely went over
Yeah.
it. They just said it was whatever they're doing is going to be free for the first few months into the summer or into the fall.
Yeah.
And that's when they're going to start charging. How much? They won't tell you.
And it's going to be an app on your phone that's going to do like a lot of the party chat, a lot of the matchmaking features, this, that, and the other thing. We really don't know what it is, but they're, like you said, they're being very vague about it. And I don't think they can get away with charging $60 like PlayStation Plus does and Xbox Live does. I really think in order for them to have this appealing, looking at all the additional accessories and everything else like that that's going into it, a $40 price point, maybe $50. But I think if they think that they're going to go and ask for $60, then it's going to be, they're going to get kind of slapped in the face with people not really wanting to play multiplayer.
Right. And I mean, my guess with that is they're going to add maybe different packages, how Xbox had the silver and gold. Just what are they going to offer and how much more is it going to cost?
Yeah. So a lot of hidden costs that we have to kind of wait and see what it looks like in fall. Like, how much are we really paying for the NX when it comes to controllers and all this other stuff. So, All right. So we talked about the accessories, John. We're looking at the price of the accessories, which seem kind of outrageous overall. Now, looking at the games, they are sticking with that $60 new release model. What are some of your thoughts on that? Do you think it's fine? They should keep with the $60? Are you worried about some of the other games that might be priced differently?
Well, yeah, I'm going to look at some of the games that were priced differently. For instance, the 1-2 Switch threw me by surprise. I thought that was going to be an added addition to something
like a Wii Sports that you would get on the Wii.
thing. They're charging $50 for that thing. And I don't know if you guys watched the presentation, the live stream, the live tree that they had. The games are ridiculous.
Yeah, for the most part. It doesn't seem like they would have that hook like Wii Sports did. Wii Sports got everybody involved. Everybody was really intrigued about it. Everybody wanted to play it.
Yeah.
I don't know if this is going to have that kind of staying power.
Right, and this is something where they're having adults sit there just walking up to each other and like, hey, let's play the game, and you're not even looking at the screen, you're looking at each other like through the eyes, and this thing's supposed to base it off of your movements and everything like that. I can see kids doing it like at a party or something.
I really think it's like one of those things that you try it out like 2-3 times, and then it's just like
then you shelf it,
and then maybe you pull it out at a party or something like that.
But for $50, that is a little ridiculous.
Yeah, I don't think there's $50 worth of value in that.
Absolutely not. So I mean, as far as the actual games being, similar to the, I feel like that's correct.
$60
based off of. I mean, you look at Zelda. On your TV, it's going to run 1080 at 60 frames a second. When you pick it up, you can go around with it.
Yeah, that's 720.
At 720. But, I feel like that's fair.
Yeah.
That's fair. For the
for
big...
For what you're going to get with Zelda, the $60 price point is probably going to be worth it. And I think it's the same for some of these other big games that we are excited for. Like Mario Odyssey is going to be really the first game, I think, that's going to be a console seller for the Switch. Because... looking at Zelda, you can get Zelda Breath of the Wild on Wii U.
Yes,
and I think a lot of people are going to stick with that and wait until this library becomes a little bit more larger.
Right.
So, you do have some rehashes or some minor updates. A lot of people looking forward to Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. They're going to be fixing the battle system, so that's exciting. They're going to have Splatoon 2, which is, from what I'm hearing in different media outlets, it's a sequel, but it's more of an update that's being put on a disc with some added features for Splatoon.
Okay.
And they're not really saying that it really should be called a sequel. It's more of like a Splatoon plus, like 0.5.
So it's Splatoon for Switch, basically. And
pretty much. Yeah. And that's what everybody thought it was just going to be. It was going to be a remaster or a rehash of Splatoon, similar to what Mario Kart is.
Right.
But everything there, pretty much from our understanding, it's going to be the big AAA titles. It's going to be Zelda at launch, Mario Kart, I think, in April. Sometime in summer, Splatoon 2. And then you really don't get to a game until Mario Odyssey. That's a system seller. It's new. You're not going to be able to get anything like that on the actual Wii U.
Right.
So I think that's when you're going to start seeing a lot of adopters when it comes to the Nintendo Switch. But all great games, they're going to be giving people something to play on it, which is a good thing. But the problem is a lot of those games you could already play on the Wii U. So I think this might struggle out of the gate for a while.
Yeah, well, that's how I look at it as well. Right now, you're looking at a $300 system to play Zelda in 1080p. Right now, that's pretty much what you're looking at.
Yeah, if that's your sole reason for buying it, I would say that's a questionable decision.
Yeah,
but
and then, talking of the games and everything like that, we do want to talk. We did mention that the hardware is pretty cool. Like, they really took their time engineering this thing.
Yeah, and I think it's gonna pay off for them, as long as they keep the software coming.
Right.
As long as they give you reasons to own this thing, I think that'll be fine. And ever since they molded both the portable and console teams together to develop games, this hopefully will allow them to start churning out games a lot faster.
Right, and they do have a big list of developers. However, I feel they had a hard time selling this thing to them at first.
Yeah,
that's why a lot of games are in development instead of having them right now.
Yeah, I think it's a lot of, hey, how much are you going to sell? Like, is it going to be worth us making a game for it? Because honestly, I feel like Nintendo's burned both Ubisoft, EA, 2K. Like, they really don't want to put in development time if this thing isn't going to have the numbers to actually sell their games.
Right, yeah, they don't want to, exactly. They don't want to put the time to try to port these games that they have just to have it flop,
Exactly. And it takes more development time to develop for something that is actually weaker than what the Xbox One and PS4 is. It's a little bit more, the architecture of something like that is going to have probably different types of issues than what those home console systems would have. So looking at the grander scheme of where the Switch could be heading, there was some mentions by Nintendo that we could be getting a new Metroid, or a Metroid might be in the works, which is exciting. A lot of fans have been waiting for a Metroid. There's going to be, obviously, tons of other games that Nintendo has in the works. The franchises and everything that they hold is unlike anything that any other game developers had.
Yeah.
So they're going to be hopefully churning out things. Hopefully we do get an actual full version console game of Pokemon. And I think if they can sell people on Pokemon on the Switch, the kids, the fan base, they're going to swarm to that.
Absolutely. And talking about Pokemon,
Mm-hmm.
I feel what they're doing now is they mention it's going to be a console system first,
Mm-hmm.
and then you can take it around. But I feel if they start incorporating all their handheld
Mm-hmm.
into this system, I mean, now they're going to be fighting their price point. You have a $30 Game Boy game versus...
Yeah, you
where
would
you're
hope
gonna
that would be the price point. Yeah, something like that would be great, actually, if they're actually going to have almost like DS level games at like $40.
Mm-hmm.
That could really help the Switch, I think.
That way they're focused on one system. All the developers can focus on this system.
Mm-hmm.
They're not going to be making DS games and then have ports of their games on the Switch. Granted, that's different marketplace for more opportunities, but I feel if they do that, if they start pushing all their efforts into this system, it will be successful.
Yeah. And the funny thing to know too is that it's very hard right now to find a Wii U, because for all intents and purposes they stopped manufacturing the Wii U. On top of that though is that you can't find 3DSs anywhere.
Mm-hmm.
Like most Walmarts, most Targets, those cases where the Wii U's and the 3DSs sat are empty right now.
Mm-hmm.
So I think they're going to force your hand into the Switch, whether you like it or not. But what hopefully that means is that their handheld gaming development and their console gaming development becomes one.
Right.
And now we have this super machine that can play on the go games as well as home console experiences.
Right.
So this is for all intents and purposes Nintendo's, I don't want to say last hope, but it's very well could be that before they get pushed into making games for all consoles.
Right.
The other interesting thing about the Nintendo Switch though is I believe it was like months ago they had a patent for something involving VR that looked a lot like the Switch.
Okay.
So I don't know how true this is. I don't know what the game plan is down the line. But if they can make it so that this Switch screen goes into a headset and you have the Joy-Cons as controller for VR with no wires attached.
With no extra accessories.
No, with no extra accessories or anything like that, other than obviously probably the headset that's
Right.
going to hold it. If they can get that to work, they just made VR a whole lot more obtainable than any of the other companies that are doing VR right now.
Right.
If they can get it to pretty much work just like the Samsung Galaxy VR,
Mm-hmm.
then this is a big move for VR, and that is probably going to be a giant success story for Nintendo if they can get it to work.
Mm-hmm. And that's something to look forward to if they pursue
can
that.
do it, yeah.
So, I mean, looking at everything we looked at, what do you think? Pre-order or not to pre-order?
I think you got to ask yourself a couple things. Like, if you skip the Wii U generation and you're just really excited,
Which was me.
If you're really excited for Nintendo,
Mm-hmm.
a Nintendo console, then I think a lot of people are going to jump on it.
Right.
Because of Zelda
Mm-hmm.
at launch, because of Mario Kart 8, which they may not have been able to play, because of Splatoon, that is a new IP that only came out on the Wii U.
Mm-hmm.
So, and if not by then, when Mario Odyssey comes out, if you're a Nintendo fan, you're going to want to play that game. So it's hard to say. I mean, the big problem is that when it comes to Nintendo, they create artificial demand. They've always done it. For the $60 NES console, the Mini.
The NES Mini, yep.
Yeah. They could have manufactured so many of those. I don't care what they say. They could have had them on store and tons of numbers on store shelves for holiday. But
Yeah.
they didn't.
Shame on you.
Yeah. They did the same thing for the Wii. They did the same thing for Wii U when it first came out. So that's my biggest concern, and that should be your biggest concern. If you're really worried about potentially getting one of these things by holiday even, try and get it now if you can, because I think by holiday they're going to be just as scarce, because what's going to happen is you're going to have the launch window where you have the hardcore going out for these Nintendo consoles, and then by holiday you're going to have the moms and the dads and the kids that are going to want this console because Mario's on it, because Mario Kart's on it.
Yeah.
Who knows what other announcements they're going to have at E3 at that point, too.
It's true.
Like I said, if they have announcements for Pokemon, forget about it. Kids are going to want that console. Because that's the only way, especially if that's the only way they can actually get those Pokemon games going forward. So it's really dependent on you. What are some of your thoughts, John, about pre-ordering it? Do you think it's a wise idea? Do you think you should wait for it?
Right now, I've said it in my last video. For right now, I don't see it as a necessary pre-order because, like you said, they only have Zelda. You're basically paying for a $300 thing to play Zelda. So you're basically paying $300 to play Zelda at this moment in time. really what you're getting in April is a game that already came out, but like you said, if you skipped Wii U like I had, you never got a chance to play it. Splatoon 2, not my thing, but maybe people are excited for it. It does look awesome, to be honest. It does look cool. It looks fun. I never played Splatoon 1, but this game does look cool. Is it really something that you still want to jump in for? Because like I said, a lot of developers are creating games, but they're not going to be coming out probably till next year.
Yeah.
So right now, you have Mario to look forward to. And like you said, if you pre-order it now, it might be scarce during the holiday, which is true. They could do that.
I'm half expecting to, at E3, to have some really huge announcements that even put more pressure on people to try and go out and buy these things. Like, I feel like we could be looking at a Metroid announcement at E3.
Right.
I feel like we could get an announcement for Pokemon at E3. Something to get them excited for going into the fourth quarter that's going to sell these systems and hopefully build up enough sell-through that these third-party developers start jumping on board.
See, my thing is with this whole way they presented everything is, why in like a couple of weeks? What was so, like, is it just because they know they have to get Zelda out and they know they don't want to put it on Wii U first and then have it come on Switch, because then that's potential, because they have nothing for this system
and
yet.
I think that's the big thing, is that they had Zelda probably ready for months now. And they probably looked at it and been like, what are we going to use to sell this new Switch system? Right,
because you need a Mario or you need a Zelda.
Yes.
And that's been pretty much the way it's been going since the NES.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
And looking at where Mario's supposed to fall, Switch may have at one point been pushed to holiday, but because they needed to get Zelda out, they probably had to pull the trigger.
Right. And, I mean, looking at it, too, is this something that everyone should pre-order now? Or is this something... Because the way I look at it, right now, I don't know who this system's for. Is this something an adult's going to want to play on their home console and then pick it up and then walk away with it? And then...
Yeah.
I mean, it's not pocket size, which is a good thing.
Yeah.
But then this is something where, are you going to bring it to work? Are you going to do this, do that with it?
I think that it really comes down to a couple of different things. Is, are you looking at this as a home console, or are you looking at this as a handheld? For me, looking at handhelds, like I've owned a ton of handhelds before, but I'm much more likely, if I'm home, to sit on a couch with a controller and play a game on my big screen TV.
Yeah.
The idea of a handheld is great, I think, for the commuters, for train riders, the bus riders, whatever the case may be. I think that's what this kind of appeals to them more, because now they're on the go with a full-fledged console game in their hands. And I think for the most part, what this console is for right now is just those hardcore fans, until they start getting some of the more, I don't want to say pop culture, but the more casual gaming audience, the games that they need. Whether that be something like Pokemon or something else that might come down the line. That's why I think that launch will be successful. We know that, pre-orders are selling out here and there.
Yes.
So I think launch will be successful. I don't know if you're going to get those big sales numbers until holiday, though.
Yeah, I think holiday is going to be the bang. Like, that's when it's going to be worth it. That's when you can get Mario. That's when you can get Zelda at the same time. That's when you're going to have games to play. But
there is one caveat to this. Holiday is also going to see, potentially, if Microsoft sticks to it, is when Scorpio's coming out. So you're going to have to make a choice then. Looking at all the accessories, looking at the system, you're going to spend $300 on the system. Who knows how much on accessories? By the time that you're done, is it upwards of what the Scorpio could potentially cost?
Right.
Because if it is, then you have to make a choice.
Because they are pulling out the games that you want to play.
Yeah.
Or the mainstream
third party.
That's what, like I said, the Nintendo Switch, I feel like they just recently got their developers on board with their technology. So, but Scorpio, if it is as big and as great, and if the price is just right, I feel like a lot of people are going to gravitate towards that, which is also a reason why some people might hold off on Switch to see what they're going to pull out for the year. So, I mean, like you said, to wrap things up, you know, between the price, between what we're actually getting this year, and what is going to be coming out in the future, because like we said, the hardware is pretty cool. Like, I think it's fun. I'm excited for it, but right now I don't think it's worth it. And like you said, it's a lot of people are just jumping on board because of, you never know if it's going to be available.
The one thing I will say is that, just, you know, all disclosure, I pre-ordered it. I pre-ordered it because I am worried about Nintendo creating artificial demand. I just pre-ordered it just to have. If I decide to get it or not, that remains to be seen. But the three big things that I know that had a very limited quantity was obviously the Zelda Collector's Editions or Special Editions, the system themselves, and then the colored Joy-Cons were all very limited quantity. Mm-hmm. So if you're looking for any of those and you definitely want to have them at launch, I would pre-order them now if you can. If they are still available. So just FYI, PSA to anybody that's still interested. But that's pretty much it. Like I said, I'm pre-ordering it right now. I pre-ordered a GameStop, put down a minimum payment. If I want to change it later on, I can.
Yeah.
Always safe. Better safe than sorry.
That's true.
You know, so. Alright friends, well that was our final thoughts on the Nintendo Switch and whether or not you guys should run out and pre-order or pick up at launch. Check out our other videos in the description below. Make sure to follow us on Twitter and catch us on Twitch every single Wednesday. We would like to hear from you, so if you want to say hi, have anything to add, or just want to yell at us, leave a comment below. I'm Carmine from Cartridge Gamers.
I'm John.
We appreciate you watching. Remember to like and subscribe if you haven't done so already. Stay awesome, and we'll catch you next time. Peace.